Our great buddy Parker Rehm. We were catching up during the break. He's playing injured right now. He's playing sick. This might be his flu game here. And
Yeah.
Thank you so literally. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Yeah, this is like you said, MJ flu game. This is sometimes you got to perform when you're under the weather, and this is my time to shine.
I love it. Parker, well, we'll keep it quick and brief for you. That way you can save your voice for the good people there in Waco. This Texas A&M team, they just keep continuing to find ways to win, and they did it again this past week. There was a lot of talk about Florida after knocking off Texas the week before. What do you make now of this Texas A&M team as they are still unscathed and seemingly passing tests in very impressive fashion?
Yeah, I think they keep proving that this is a legit team, and you've seen all like I don't know if you guys have seen the posts of like X percentage to make the college football playoff, but Texas A&M just keeps rising up that list, right? So I think they're in a great spot right now, and that's exactly where they wanted to be before the season. I don't know if many thought that this would be the spot that they'd be in, but here they are, 7-0, and looking to just keep climbing. I think I don't know what more it's going to take for people to finally be like, oh, this team's legit. But they've done everything and then some to prove that.
Parker, I mean, you look outside the first two drives of the game, and the A&M defense was really able to shut down DJ Lagway in Florida. What'd you make of that performance?
I think they just really shored up a lot of the problems that they had in the first couple games. And you see the statistics right here, right? They kind of went back and forth in that first quarter, and it looked like, oh, this is going to be a shootout. But I don't think anybody wants to get in a shootout with this Texas A&M offense. So with the Aggies shoring it up on the defensive side, I think they really got to DJ Lagway, especially the pressure that they got on him to force him into some maybe quick decisions that he didn't want to make or didn't really let the play develop, which let Texas A&M's defensive backs. Des Ricks was targeted pretty early on in that first half, and they didn't really target him in the second half because they kept getting to DJ Lagway and forcing more pressure. And I think they did exactly what they needed to do to pull out that win.
Yeah, defensively, this team has just been on a real run here. I think there was maybe some questions coming out of the Notre Dame game where they gave up 40, but then, since then it's been single digits in just about every game. And just like Patrick said, you take away that first quarter and it's been lights out for this defense. What has changed since that Notre Dame game and the way that this team's able to play so effectively?
I really don't know that much has changed, at least in terms of their game plan and their approach. I think maybe we heard after that Notre Dame game that they kind of were playing with a chip on their shoulder. I know that's kind of like a common saying that, oh, we're coming out this week with a new fire and new intensity, but you really saw that against Auburn and all those teams after that Notre Dame game. To really get this defense in a rhythm. And I think they've just been playing with that chip on their shoulder, and that's the biggest difference.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams still looking for RB1, or maybe RB1 gets hurt, like a situation like Alabama, but they're in Texas A&M. They have been able to find multiple guys to be able to run the football really well and really effectively. What do you make there of the run game and how it balances out with the young quarterback in Marcel Reed?
Well, now they're going to need some new guys to step up because Le'Veon Moss actually went down in that game with an ankle injury. And good news from College Station is Mike Elko said that this isn't going to be a season-ending injury, which is good for Le'Veon Moss because senior year, you would hate to see that guy go out on that kind of note. But they have multiple other weapons. Ruben Owens is a 5-star out of high school. Aggie fans have been really hoping to see him break out. He did break out in a few games, Mississippi State being one of them for that career high game. So he's going to be the lead back for these next couple weeks, and hopefully he can stay healthy because entering the year, we talked about the depth that this A&M running back room had and how much of a luxury that is. But then the luxury kind of turns to, oh, we might not have enough guys to produce if people just keep going down. And for a while, that's been the quarterback room for Texas A&M in the past few years. Now the running back room is testing that depth, and we'll see if those guys that are going to get added carries can really perform.
Absolutely. It's been next man up there in College Station. We got a chance to hear from Mike Elko about the depth there in his running back room.
We have a lot of really talented players. It's why we talk a lot about just being ready. Like, again, we always talk to the offense. Our guys will tell you I'm fairly blunt and honest when we have these conversations. Like, everybody wants the football, and so we go into last week with 5 tailbacks who all want the ball 25 times and all are probably capable of carrying it 25 times. But we can't do that, right? And so everybody just has to stay ready. And so, all of a sudden Lev goes down, and now Ruben's got to be the primary ball carrier, and then that opens up some carries for Amari and for Jamarian to get in there, and they give us some good runs. Amari converts a 3rd and short, Jamarian converts a 3rd and short, and then he gets into 4-minute offense at the end of the game, and now we're able to put in a fresh E.J. Smith out there, and we really trust his ball security, and he rips off some really good runs, and he's fresh and ready to go and ready to do his job the way he needs to. And so I think it's a credit to what Trooper Taylor does with that group, and I think it's just a credit to those kids that they just work and they're ready to go when their numbers are called.
So obviously the running back room has been really solid for this football team, but a consistent player all season long has been Marcel Reed. It feels like they're asking him to do just enough, not too much and not too little throughout the course of the season. Nearly 1,500 yards passing, and has been very efficient as well, and he's taking care of the football. What do you make of what Marcel Reed's been able to do so far this year, and how high is his ceiling, given that the defense is playing on such a good level and all the pieces around him are playing really strong football?
I think it's a match made in heaven in Aggie land. I think that is, you have somebody under center that has the talent to take over a game by himself, but it also relies on the people around him. And that's something he's been doing such a great job of, is not just relying on himself, which I think he had to do a lot of last year. And that's something that he just has the luxury of this year, is so many weapons, not only on the outside, but also in the running back room, and an offensive line that's played much, much, much better over the past couple of weeks to give him that amount of time to make those decisions. And I think he's been delivering. The only thing that, and Mike Elko said it, the deep ball accuracy, I think, is something that we've been waiting to see. And he's gotten better throughout the season as it progresses, but that's maybe the next step that he has to take in order to become in that upper echelon of players that are in college football right now.
Parker, it's a weird landscape of college football, as we all know, and especially after last weekend with the coaching carousel being in full swing.
Yeah.
Is there any concern over there in College Station that Mike Elko might leave the Aggies for, I don't know, Happy Valley maybe?
Yeah, right. I did see a few rumors that might happen, but that happens with every.
Right.
Matt Rule talked about it too. That just happens when you win football games, right? But I don't think that there's any. There's no concern about that. He's only in year 2. It's a great job in college football to be in the SEC. The resources that A&M puts towards football, I think there really should be no concern for Aggie fans, but also. They also thought that with their baseball coach, who ended up, Jim Schlossnagle, who ended up going to Texas. And they were like, I promise it's not going to happen. And then 2 days later, he's trading in the maroon and white for some burnt orange. So I think,
look at back. That's awful.
Yeah,
that is actually awful.
It's really bad. But I think, if anything, that'd be the only concern from my perspective, is Aggie fans may have been burned in the past, so they don't want to forgive too early. But I think they can trust Mike Elko ahead.
Well, I guess in that case, I think Steve Sarkisian's safe there at Texas, so he won't. He won't go over there.
I think he'll be good.
Springing forward to this upcoming week against Arkansas, this is a Razorback team that gave Tennessee just the business last week. Didn't come away with the win, but they looked good under Bobby Petrino. What's the message been this past week to the Aggies as they get ready to head over to Fayetteville?
Same message as the previous weeks. Just don't let your foot off the gas, and especially against Arkansas, unranked, but still not one of those teams that you should take lightly. And I think that's kind of how they're approaching this. Last year, this was the time when Texas A&M did take their foot off the gas pedal, and it just derailed their entire season. So are they going to bend and not break, or is it going to be a repeat of what happened last year? And I think this is the turning point where they really need to cement their start to this season. And they have a great chance to do that, and then they go to Death Valley. We're not even talking about Happy Valley anymore. We're talking about Death Valley. That's going to be such a good game in a few weeks.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of the road, I erroneously said that you can't trust a young quarterback on the road, and I was right about Underwood, the quarterback from Michigan, when he went on the road to Oklahoma, and I kind of just took that narrative and carbon copied it to Marcel Reed. Not that he's talented enough. I just said I didn't see a young guy going to South Bend and being able to go get a win against Notre Dame. He obviously did, and he's looked good and looked really great ever since then. Now it's the first game back on the road since that Notre Dame game. Any cause for concern about this football team just, being at home for the long time and now going to hostile, I use that in the biggest air quotes ever because we don't know what's going on over there, hostile environment there in Fayetteville?
I do think it's a good point to bring up that they've had a while since the last road test, and the biggest concern for Texas A&M football throughout the years is they just don't win games on the road that often, and I think they put that to bed with Notre Dame, where they snapped that streak of ranked road wins, but they shouldn't really treat this one as any different. I think they're not really treating it that different, but also you should be a little bit concerned going on the road. Obviously, this Arkansas team looking to upset a top 5 opponent they're going to be ready. I think that's the biggest thing in the maroon and white.
Yeah, okay, so ready is the key word. So I was going to ask do you think that we'll see what we saw with Ole Miss last week? Because I think just diagnosing it, you're just thinking, well, Ole Miss was looking ahead to Georgia, and they did so for 4 quarters, and Washington State just hung around. I guess you don't see that playing out there in Fayetteville?
No, I don't. I think they will be ready, but it is that same kind of thing. Don't look ahead to this LSU matchup in Baton Rouge, because it's easy to do that. A top 10 matchup, pretty much deciding who's going to be in that SEC title game. But this Arkansas game is also important because that ultimately decides if you're going to be competing for an SEC title. Like, all of these games matter in conference play. It's not just the ranked top 10, top 15 matchups. And a lot of teams, you've seen it across the country, a lot of teams get caught up in we're looking towards this big time matchup at home or on the road. And I don't see that happening this weekend. But crazier things have happened. I don't know. We'll just have to see on Saturday.
Yeah, you're certainly right about that. And a good message and a good talking point there for Coach Elko and the coaching staff, saying, hey, let's not be a cautionary tale for the teams moving forward, as this big game against Arkansas comes right before the game, as Parker mentioned, over there in Death Valley against LSU. Parker, thank you so much for playing injured, so to speak, and coming out, helping us out here, man. Save that voice, and thank you so much for your time.
No problem. I'll pop a few more of these and
get a sponsorship.
Yeah, sponsored by Pups. Thanks, guys.